What's going on, everybody? Josh from the lab here, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a case that's going on in Southern California, in San Bernardino County. 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro has been allegedly kidnapped, according to his mother, from a parking lot right outside a Big Five shopping center in Yucaipa, which is right outside of Los Angeles. And to say that the story that is been given seems to have some holes in it would be probably a generous understatement, but we'll go with the inconsistencies that law enforcement is saying. Now, I'm not exactly sure what those inconsistencies are. However, I subscribe to the theory that where there is smoke, there is fire. And it seems as though you have a father who has been in trouble for child abuse and child endangerment, or disregard of a child's safety, however you want to word it, where he ended up doing 6 months in jail, is on probation, and it sounds as though he has violated that probation by purchasing or owning a firearm as a felon, which is an absolute no. Now, he was set next week, I believe, to appear before a court. And I don't know if that has anything to do with this case. I just know that when a child goes missing and somebody in the home has had a problem with child abuse, that just doesn't sound like something that's going to end well. And I hope that I'm completely wrong. However, KTLA out of Los Angeles is now saying that the parents of missing California 7-month-old reportedly are now the target of the investigation. Now, I don't think that news is going to probably knock anybody's socks off. This is what they had to say. The parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, who claim the child was kidnapped last week, are now reportedly the focus of the missing persons investigation, in which unsettling new details continue to emerge. Rebecca Haro initially claimed that her little boy, Emmanuel Haro, was kidnapped from the parking lot of a Big Five sporting goods store on August 14th in Yucaipa after a stranger who she claims she didn't see knocked her unconscious while she was changing the baby in the car, leaving her with a black eye. But an Amber Alert was never issued because there was no suspect or vehicle descriptions, and deputies from both the San Bernardino and Riverside County Sheriff's Department launched an extensive search, deploying helicopters and K9 units, though ultimately neither the child nor a suspect were located. Detectives with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department Specialized Investigations Division interviewed multiple people, including Rebecca and her husband, Jake Haro. And when confronted with inconsistencies in her story, investigators said she declined to continue talking. When authorities asked her to take a lie detector, her husband reportedly refused the request until a lawyer was present. I'm not really sure exactly what a lawyer would do for them other than to tell them, if you're guilty, don't take a lie detector. But him being present would not change the results of said polygraph test. While investigators are being tight-lipped about the investigation, the child's grandmother, who insists the parents are innocent, and who could blame her? However, this man has a history, told KTLA that deputies have searched the couple's residence with cadaver dogs, and it was later learned that officials removed the Haro's 2-year-old child from their custody while the investigation is pending. That is typically not standard practice for a child that has been kidnapped by a stranger. There have since been new revelations, including possible video of Rebecca with bruised black eye as early as August 3rd, and a claim that no one saw Emmanuel at the nearby park where the family gathered the day of the alleged kidnapping, and Haro's felony conviction for willful child cruelty. And the conviction stems from a 2018 arrest in Hemet while Jack was married to another woman. Jake. Whatever. Vanessa Avina On October 13, 2018, Haro and Avina's 10-week-old daughter was admitted to Hemet Valley Hospital. Doctors reported to police that the little girl had an acute fractured rib, 6 ribs with healing fractures, a skull fracture, brain hemorrhage, swelling of the neck, and fractured leg bone that was healing. Quote, the combination of the above findings in a premobile infant in the absence of plausible history of significant trauma to explain the injuries is indicative of child abuse, head trauma, child physical abuse, and nutrition neglect, the officer wrote in an affidavit for a warrant obtained by the register. Haro reportedly blamed the baby's injuries on his wife. Both were arrested and pleaded guilty to the charge in 2023. As the search for Emmanuel continues, investigators are now saying they have not ruled out foul play and were again seen at the Haro's property Monday. And the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, which had initially put up a $5,000 reward for the information leading to the recovery of the 7-month-old, pulled the reward less than a day after announcing the offer, citing concerns over inconsistencies in Haro's story. And in the meantime, Rebecca and Jake, who initially made very public pleas for their son's safe return, have removed their phone numbers from the missing persons flyers and were no longer answering their phones and have retained lawyers. It's unclear which law firm is representing the couple and whether there has been dialogue with investigators. So you just listen to those injuries that a child who cannot move on their own has. Certainly the child didn't get those just by rolling around on the ground. And it's a pretty disgusting report. How he was even allowed around children is beyond me. And I hope that that's something, a law that is certainly looked at, if not immediately changed, because there's no reason for this man to have been in custody of any children or be around any children. If this was a sexual crime, he most certainly would not be. But there is more than one way to harm a child, and either way is not appropriate for him to be in contact or custody of a child. This situation probably is only going to get worse. I would imagine that at some point, investigators will issue arrest warrants, maybe not for the ultimate crime yet, but usually what happens is they pull them in on something else if they have something to pull them in on. And I'm sure that it would be something that they're working towards. But hopefully this situation just turns out to be one big misunderstanding. I don't know how that could be at this point, and that baby Emmanuel, 7-month-old, is alive and well. And that is all that we can hope for at this point until we get more information. Thank you for listening. I'm Joshua Diaz with The Lab.